Good morning, beautiful people around the world, and welcome to Obinwannem English News Update. My name is Obo Promise, the news presenter. On the trending news around the world this morning, 14th day of May 2024, United Nations says staff member killed in Rafah. The United Nations says one of its staff members was killed and another injured as they traveled to a hospital in southern Gaza on Monday. It said the workers were traveling in a United Nations vehicle to the European hospital near Rafah where it was struck. The United Nations did not mention who it thought was responsible for the attack. The Israel military said an initial inquiry indicated the vehicle was struck in an active combat zone and it had not been made aware of its route. Trapped in hell under collapsed building but pulled out alive. Pinned under the rubble of a 5-story apartment block that collapsed in South Africa's coastal city of George, electrician Delvin Severs was trapped next to the motionless, silent body of his colleague. He was dead. Mr. Severs was terrified, but most of all, at the moment, he was sad for the man who had become a friend after working together for 7 months building the upmarket apartment block in a city along what is known as the Scenic Garden route. The flat with a mountain view were now a pile of debris, twisted metal reinforcements and mangled scaffolding, burying dozens of those who had been working on the site. Savas remembered that his phone was in his pocket, and with his one free hand armed, he made his first call. A last word with his family as he was convinced he would not survive. I wanted to say goodbye as I was trapped and thought it was over for me, the 29-year-old tells the BBC from his home in Mosul Bay, a town 40 kilometers southwest of George. He's recovering but sounds exhausted. Just minutes before his accidental entombment last Monday afternoon, he had been discussing an electrical problem with his colleague on the 3rd floor when, with no sound or warning, the floor collapsed underneath them. I can see that split second when we fell down because I still remember looking at my colleague when I was still falling. Still on the world news, Blinken in Ukraine to offer strong reassurance as US weapons reach front line. US Secretary of State Attorney Blinken has arrived in Ukraine as weapons from a new American aid package begin arriving at the front line. His visit comes as the country struggles to hold back a major Russian incursion near its second biggest city of Kharkiv. American top diplomat is expected to meet President Volodymyr Zelensky and other officials. Mr. Blinken will deliver a message of reassurance, US officials say. The Secretary of State's arrival on Tuesday marks 3 weeks since the US Congress finally agreed a new $61 billion aid package for Ukraine. The breakthrough followed more than a year of partisan paralysis in Washington, with some Republicans adamantly opposed to the funding. Israelite protesters block aid trucks destined for Gaza. Israeli protesters blocked aid trucks destined for Gaza on Monday, throwing food packages onto the road and ripping bags of grain open in the occupied West Bank. The lorries, which were set upon at the Tagumia checkpoint west of Hebron, came from Jordan and were headed to the Gaza Strip. where tens of thousands of Palestinians face food and aid shortages. The White House has condemned the attack, describing the looting of aid convoys as a total coverage. The group reportedly behind the protest said they were demonstrating against the continued detention of Israeli hostages in Gaza. Unverified footage shared on social media showed protesters toppling boxes from lorries onto the ground and stomping on them once they had fallen. Some videos appear to show vehicles being set on fire later in the evening. The BBC has not been able to independently verify this. According to reporters in Israeli media, the Tzif-9 activist group were responsible for organizing the protest. Israeli media reports describe it as a right-wing group which is seeking to halt humanitarian aid transfers into Gaza while Israeli hostages are held there. And with this, we've come to the end of world news this morning. Thanks for listening to Obinwannem News Hour. Please make sure to follow Obinwannem News platform to be notified each time we come live. Stay blessed and do have a lovely day. My name is still Obo Promise. Obinwannem News presenter from Akwa Ibom State.